Is this really Altai? What the hell happened to these hills? Jesus Christ, it looks like an morbidly obese giant walked through and took a munch out of the side of him. All right, we're in like baby Altai here. Welcome, folks. We found his smurf. It was actually offered up. Big shout out to Mr. for being so nice to actually give it over to me. Some people try to keep their smurf secret, but my boy Mr. came through. He's like, it is hocus pocus. Go. Watch me. Bathe in me. In my glory. Okay, he wouldn't be like that. Humble Mister would not say bathe in my glory. Although I'm not going to lie, folks. In the competitive scene, I'm waiting for the day, like, we get, like, for a start, we need to actually be able to see in-game chat for it. But I want to see someone just, like, beating a Beastie or a Marine Lord and just all caps type bathe in my glory. I need it. I want the smack talk. I'm not going to lie, like, maybe it's because I'm sheltered in Dota 2, you didn't really get that level of smack talk, and I feel like everyone in Age of Empires is quite nice. But I really want that smack. That's the one thing, like, that's the big thing. Like, when I look at scenes like Halo, I'm like, I'm kind of jelly. I'm a little bit jelly. Because over there, like, if you guys have ever watched the way things go down, the way things went down in the early days of esports, the aggressive smack talk was actually hilarious to watch. Maybe we'll get there, but not from these cuties. One of them's got cutie in the name, and one's definitely a cutie in the way that I've seen him act. In fact, they both are. They're wonderful people. I'm so glad we've got these type of people in the community, actually. I love them both. I'm just being a nice guy right now. I'm just, like, giving hearts to everyone. I'm going to end up being that guy that because I say I like everyone, it's, like, less meaningful. But I do think we've got some wonderful people at the forefront. These two are definitely up there. And it's nice to see, like, Mister's been doing a lot more training than was maybe first apparent. I feel like this guy gets in after a hard day. Like, some people saying, I got stamina. Like, I imagine Mister's, like, out in the fields, tilling the fields, plowing it for, like, 8 hours plus. And then he comes inside, he's like, it's time to plow some fools on the Age of Empire ladder. Let's go. Choo-choo, the tractor's coming through. Always giving us the entertainment. And this should be a good one. The good old classic English versus Francais. And oui, it is really perfect. For there is simply the Anglais in the red, and le bleu is sacré bleu over here, which is, you know, that helps my OCD. That doesn't make me want to smack my head against the keyboard. We've all been there. We've all seen the miscolorings. And let's talk about the starts to this, because there's maybe some opportunities for early aggression, even from an English player, depending on the spawn. And this gold spawn with the woodlines in mind might be tough for him to crawl around, and I think the timings would be actually a little bit too off for him to block out gold. So I am expecting Mister to be the midfield dictator in this matchup via the early knights that will just kind of prowl the midfield. Might be that BC goes for a fast castle with a condensed format, and considering that he's already hard on the food but hasn't even begun to build up into feudal, this could be 4 to 6 farms. I don't expect 6. I expect 4 maximum because he's realizing he's up against the French, so you do need defenses early. In fairness, he can go into the racks in Dark Age. It's something I haven't actually seen as many English players utilize these days. A lot of them just try to offset it, and they might go for it up in Feudal, but they don't tend to rush it in Dark. What is this? Huh. That's an interesting change, what BC's done there. It's really small, and it seems almost kind of nitpicky, but it's actually really good. So because he's playing on Altai, and this is like a natural defense barrier that should stop raids from Mister, he built his third farm next to this side, as opposed to putting it next to the TC. He'll come back for this one afterwards, but like there's inherently more value here because the dive through is less easy from this location, from this angle. It can be seen and be reacted to in choke points. And oh, yep, we are getting it. It is going to be the Castle Age rush out of Beastie. He's going into the Abbey King, so he's looking to move up as quickly as possible. Usually we've been seeing this play, I feel like a lot in Altai specifically. And I think it's because of the natural defenses that makes it harder for civs like the French to just shut you out right away. And his intent is just to rush up, likely going into Knights. I actually quite like the way English Knights function against French ones. I'm not insane. Don't call my mom and tell her that. The reason is because when you fight on the defensive, you can actually leverage a lot more damage in a prolonged fight. Now, the French Knights will reign supreme for the first 5 seconds of combat due to their bonus damage. But after that, the attack speed buffer dominates for the English. And if you are on point in the way you micro, what you can do is you can bait out a charge from the French Knights, pull back, drag them in further or force them to disengage and then turn upon them. And what that'll do is that will invalidate their opportunity to charge. Once you take that away, these French Knights are like little kittens being thrown into a paper shredder. Okay, I shouldn't have given you that mental image right there, but you get the idea. I'm going to get reported for that one. I should probably put... that's a good idea. I'm going to put up the text, because usually I put up text to tell you who these people are. Hocus Pocus, though, just to reiterate, is indeed Mista. Now, I'm going to blow your mind to follow up on this, though. Did you know that Beastqt is a cutie? So, tech ops complete. Stone gathered. Oh, Mista. Where are we putting this one? He's like, well, I was thinking with the amount of resources I got for this town center, I'm going to take it and shove it right up Beastie's north side. We're going to go to the berries here. Beastie, he hasn't even teched up yet. He went hard on the farms. The intent of this build, by the way, like I haven't seen this in a while. I feel like people moved away from it. You prolong your Dark Age so that you set up your food and gold so that when you arrive up in Castle Age, about 30 seconds to a minute later, you go up into Castle. So you can see it right now. Like, he's going for feudal, but he's doing it so slowly with one villager. The resource count, he's probably going to be at about 1,000 food almost, and probably 400 gold by the time he gets up. Interesting, actually, because the more I think about this, I kind of like G-Way's build. We saw it on the weekend. It was actually crazy to watch. So giving anxiety, if you guys haven't seen this build, he does a build on Altai with the English where you go on the deer instead, you gather there, and you rush Castle Age. And I think he got something like, it was crazy. I think it must have been like a 7.5 minute castle, maybe? Possibly 8, max. Which is a phenomenal timing for the English. I think it was one of the fastest I've ever actually seen. But BC doesn't subscribe to that line of thought. Just goes to the strong and steady, strong and stable farmlands. And he's going to set up the stables as well. You see the food gold is almost there, so should have Castle Age by about 9 minutes maximum. And it looks like looks like the stream is having a problem, so I'm going to restart it quickly. Apologies to the recording. OBS is even crashing, which is even better. In fact, I'll pause this here for a sec. Just bear with me, YouTube side. Okay, let's get back underway. Apologies for that. All right, here it comes. Apologies for that, folks. Don't you just love it when Twitch randomly decides to have a heart attack and force you to change server? It looks like we're back online, though, so let's get back to this because it looks like the Castle Age is coming out. Should be with this amount of... the deer are griefing. The deer are so griefing in this game. Oh, my God. All right, so that's going to delay his timing by an extra 20 seconds. Nah, it's more like 5 seconds they delayed it by. There should be about a 9-minute Castle Age coming out from him. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mista, this situation, like, he could actually catch up to Beastie at about 10.5, 11 minutes, but it would mean he's pushing no military units whatsoever, which is a dangerous situation to find. What the hell? Okay. We're lagging again. What the hell is going on here? Bear with me a sec. It's going to be a pain in the ass to actually edit later, isn't it? So what the hell is going on? Okay, are we live now? Can you guys see? Very weird, because the issue isn't on my end as everything else is working, so it's OBS related. Can you guys, like, just give me some checks in chat? We good? All right. Apologies for that, folks. Hopefully that stops now. Would be nice if, I don't know, Twitch servers just worked. I literally just checked YouTube, everything else. Like, I'm not streaming YouTube right now, but I, like, checked the YouTube video, checked everything else in the background. Everything works. So whatever's happening right now, it's something wrong with my Twitch connection, but fingers crossed we're stable now. Let's get back to it. Apologies for that. So I was just saying that in this situation, like, Mista could actually catch up to the Castle Age of Beastie within about a minute and a half, but It doesn't realistically work that way when your opponent starts pushing knights. Like, if you choose to do that, you're probably going to lose 10+ villages in the process. So he really has to stabilize, like, a military force before he just rushes up. Having said that, the timing on this, yeah, he just scouted out, so he's already going for the resources before the tech up comes out. This actually makes a big difference. If he waits until Castle Age's Reach comes out for BC, the first wave of knights arrives in his base when he's trying to tech up. But now the difference in this is that he's able to get the tech up before the first round of knights come out. And the reason this is a big deal is because you're playing the French. This means that you can still be pushing knights in the meantime as you make your way up to Castle Age. It's kind of crazy. It will make a big difference here. So frustrating state of affairs for BC. Doesn't get the 1-up he was looking for. And looks like we are going to be getting the Raw Institute out of good old TheMista. So aggression is going to ramp up in the first 2 minutes of that Castle Age for the French, being able to make the Knights a lot more beefy. And this changes the dynamics of play again. Especially considering that BC is going to be playing offensive. As he's on the offense, his Knights aren't going to get that attack speed buffer. And you can see he's trying to fix that by moving a villager out for an outpost now. It's going to take a bit of time to get set up, though. First Knights are starting to come out. Royal Institute is almost done, only being built up by a mere 7 villagers here. BC fully aware that he can be raided back at base, does begin to wall himself in while trying to breach the walls of TheMista. But TheMista, with these walls alone, has delayed this long enough that he's going to be ready to defend. Even puts down additional walls to play it safe. He's not quite sure how many knights are coming just yet. And Beastie, well, the bad news if you're a Beastie fan is like the knight count isn't looking that great yet. It's only 3 stables. Meanwhile, when you look at TheMista, double stable, triple stable in fact, and also has the better production speed due to the School of Cavalry. So now he has the better knight, the better build speed, and he's going to have the bulkier boy eventually with the Royal Bloodlines. This is where BC needs a little 1-up in the eco department or it just doesn't work out. Outpost trying to go up. BC, this fight isn't going to work out too well for him. Movement out onto the villager. Whoops. That's value right there. If the outpost doesn't go up, he's in trouble. Even breaks the wall to allow him to flood out here. 4 Royal Knights. Only 3 English Knights so far. They are vetted up now on the French side, so this should be a good trade, a good exchange, and all the walls go down. TheMista with his best Kool-Aid Man impression imaginable there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do that. He's going to pull back. Initial trade. Good. Follow-up not looking too good for the moment, but now the rebuild comes out straight away. And this is the problem. Like, you can't engage like this. If the charge comes out for the French here without the attack speed aura, you lose the fight outright. And here comes the charge. Ooh. TheMista, he doesn't want to risk it. Not for the biscuit. In fact, he engages when he loses the charge here. Interesting choice being made. The problem for BC right now is he's not attacking eco. I like that he's switching up now, and he has to because he's trailing by 15 villages right now, and that lead will keep increasing. Now they only take 16 seconds to push villages. Knights here. Holding him at bay. And I have to say, like, TheMista's grabbing him by the long curlies. BC has got a new line coming in, but it's Horsemen. And the good news, at least for BC fans, is he's gathering up the relics. In fact, I think he has multiple relics on the way back right now. And because TheMista's on the defensive, he doesn't have the same option available to him. But if BC ever lets up on some pressure here, if he ever stops keeping TheMista in his base, like these knights individually, the dive power of them is very dangerous for BC, especially considering he never actually juiced up his villages via the textiles. I'm wondering if this Horseman was a misclick. Like, I'm trying to figure out the Horseman in my mind specifically. Sounds nitpicky, but it's just a weird thing to push, even just one. Maybe he was budgeted on the gold, so he just wanted to keep production going. You know, just throw crap at your opponent to keep him locked in. Oh, TheMista. Sir. 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 TheMista. You can tell this guy loves grabbing his crops. A little bit too tunnel vision in doing so. Now raid out further in. Ooh, not able to finish one off though. That being said, I mean, it's still a big lead for TheMista. He's 18 eco up. It's not really shrinking. It's actually increasing. He's holding BC back at bay, and although BC is getting this relic upgrade situated, like he's getting his hands on the relics, right, so that's upgrading his eco in a way. My issue is that at this rate, the boom might be uncontrollable. The issue for Mista is he needs to control these next lines of resources. You can see he's already moved out the south side, but he hasn't moved this in. If BC notices this, he will kill off a lot of the eco lead you've built up. Oh. He doesn't see. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. That's a whoops. One more strike. If he gets the info, this is actually big. Okay, so he sees him now. BC could send 1 or 2 knights down here. It might force Mista to invest in a wall. And that means he'll be taking potential assaults from multiple sides if he doesn't. Outpost did go up in the end. Really big detail for BC. We talked about this interaction, right? The charge from one side for the bonus damage for the French, the attack speed on the other, and oh, nice engagement there. That's what I was talking about before. You want to catch Mista when he doesn't charge. It doesn't matter if you don't get your charge. It's nice to get bonus damage, but it's even nicer to invalidate your opponent's bonus damage via the charge and the follow-up attacks, and then also get your attack speed. So far, BC is keeping that pace. Any transition coming out, Blacksmith is getting into the Iron Undermesh, and whoa, hi-ho, silver away. Big boy is going up in numbers right now, and Mista, he might get outscaled on the night count. I mean, he already is, right? He's still behind. Now his eco is starting to get a little bit exposed to him. Remember, neither player's gone for textiles, and it looks like there's a counter raid coming in because Mista has moved in the base, and that's a lot of gold miners right now. BC needs to back away fast from this. Will be able to peel back, but it does cost him a few villages. You can see how much quicker it can be for these French knights. So they get the charge off. The bonus damage that comes out allows them to two-hit villages. And the English knights aren't able to necessarily do the same. Actually, I think at this stage they should be able to do it. It's 36 plus... Oh, God. Get that thought. They're dying right now. Wallo is very ambitious beast. What are you doing here? It's like, well, you know how it is. English people, French people, they always want to beat each other. I forgot which one I am. Sorry, let me say that quickly. Well, you know, as it is, as English persons, French persons, you always forget which one you are. Defensive keep coming out now. Mista would benefit from this with the stables as well, discounting the cost, but you have to have them in range for that, folks. And admittedly, Mista's layout was a bit weird in that regard. We had TheMista show you how to do this earlier today, but you actually just line up the stables, you build a keep next to it later on, but Mista is so stretched in the way that he set these up, he doesn't actually get discount on any. Now, Beastie just trying to discount your village account will once again find his way in. The golden 69 number for Beastie, still trailing compared to 86 of Mista. But at least he's the only one raiding now, and oh, that's a big raid. Keeps going to be Garrison, charges in on the gold line. That full Gary, that's going to cause a lot of idle eco right now for Mista. He's at least got reserves of gold. He's setting up on the farms right now, though. And if BC ever dives that deep, it is going to be troublesome for the French. Good news for the French in this situation is BC seems to be a little bit reluctant due to that keep. Mista, with that, has stabilized his base. And notice that now Mista, for what I think might be the first time in the game, has got the military pop cap lead. BC is not letting up, is moving forward now for the keep on the front line. This could set up the Trebs with the attack speed buff to get through the keep, and that will open the floodgates to jump onto that farm expansion. Because the difference in the way that BC's built his base compared to Mr. Lord, Mr. Lord? I spent too much time saying Marine Lord and saying French. To Mr. Lord, damn, if they had a baby, is that he's actually defended his eco a little bit better. You can see Mista's, although it's like actually in the reservation lands behind his TCs, it's more spread out, it's more open. I'd say there's more ground to cover to get to a safe point. Mista starting to clump up. We've seen something like this before. If you just sit back and let him, he will just cast unlimited knights upon this game. And I don't believe in the boogeyman, but that does kind of look like the boogeyman. I'm not gonna lie. it's actually vulgar to watch. We saw it when he played against the Muslim, actually. He was able to just completely spam him out of the game. It was actually disgustingly effective. Just a quick Imperial up, and then spam Knights to pop cap, rush through, and your opponent is just like shrugging, saying, what do I do with this? You die. That's what you do. So that's something that BC has to be acutely aware of. Risk associated with letting up of the pressure. BC has closed the eco lead now. Interesting turn of events. 93 to the 83 right now, so BC is catching up. On top of that, he has got 4 relics banked, so technically BC's ahead. Keep in mind his farms are also more efficient, gathering at an increased 25% gathering rate at this stage, which is actually ludicrously good. Puts him up at it'd be 1.125 food per second, which is just nuts. Wait, no, ignore me, I'm an idiot. Done the wrong number. Farms are 0.75. He's got a 25% increase, which means he is up at, it would be 0.975. So he's just shy of shoreline fish. Poor little Mister over here has normie farms. They only gather at 0.75. Beastqt, he's farming scalps. Or he's prepping to anyway. The keeps are going to be going down soon. Unless Mister starts to repair them. And so far, Mister has shown no effort in doing so. Interest in doing so, in fact. His Knights are engaging in the base of BC. They mash in against the Knights. The English Knights here trying to hold their own with the attack speed buffer. Wrapping around. Didn't get the initial charge off, but with the overwhelming quantity, he'll be able to flood on through. And BC, distracted by his own siege. Wasn't expecting this. Mister, what a move. In this situation where you're back up against the wall, to go on the aggressive, to force the matter back towards the base of BC, and to overwhelm him like this, shows you just the type of plays you need to turn around a game. Because had he waited in his base, had he just sat on his hands and done nothing, BC would have broken the keeps, and then you would have had to have defended your own eco as English Knights dove in there. But instead, BC is looking dismantled right now. Enough Knights remaining in the base of the English that he's able to shut down the eco. 40 eco plus right now is not doing anything with BC. Defensive keep going up. Stabilization point if he can get it off, but this could be where Mister notices it. He gets the info, gets it pretty late, won't be able to do anything about it now. This is not a keep, this is a house of worship here. 38 villages to just get that one up. Will allow BC to stabilize, but make no mistakes, folks. The pressure he's applying on the base is going to start to shrink somewhat. No siege just yet, though. One problem I do see for Mister is, yeah, the siege workshops, they were late. Had he had these already, the keep was already down and the pressure's relieved. But this might actually offer up a moment of reprieve and an assault opportunity for Beastqt. Because Mister did lose about half his Knights for that dive, if not more. Beastqt. Oh god, the multi-pronged assault. He was switching into crossbows before, right? It's such a small quantity right now, though. You do need a front line to go with that. Knights extract some value on the backside here. Beastqt still getting a lot of value out of these trebuchets because we haven't seen the siege still out of Mister. In fact, Mister is out of gold and wood. The wood is okay, but the gold is the bigger problem here. And he's spending a lot of wood building up the additional infrastructure, which will also require additional gold as he wants to push additional Knights. It's a lot of additions. Adds up to a big lump sum you need of gold. So it's quite unfortunate for Mister that he's only got 20 people gathering right now, because that's a hell of a lot of demand to keep up with. First trebs are starting to come out. School of Cavalry being targeted down in the meantime, and Beastqt once more into the breach. The farms extend further out. That exposes more economy that he can just trench in blood. Long stream, clearly. And drain Beastqt dry. 20 eco lead still for Mister. No one getting a clear, decisive step in just yet. I am worried about these trebs, however. The trebs are done with landmarks and keeps. They can start targeting out all these stables, and that's going to slow down your production rates. This is where Beastqt can actually accelerate, and you'll notice it now in the military pop cap. This is the problem I see right now with Mister's plan. I like the idea of diving into your opponent's eco and doing some damage, but you were never prepping Springles or Trebs yourself to deal with the frontal assault. So although there wasn't any flood through of Knights initially for Beastie, he still opened the way. He's still done ridiculous damage to your infrastructure, and it's slowing you down every time you allow these Trebs to keep firing. Trebs that are juiced up with the network of Citadels giving a 50% increase to their attack speed. I mean, I don't want to say the Gatling guns, because they're still pretty slow, but it feels like Gatling guns in Trebuchet form. Like, honestly, if I had a Trebuchet crew that could fire this quick, they all deserve a raise, and they all deserve a Christmas bonus. And now he found the gold. The gold! No! Is that it? Mista's out of gold. And without gold, he can't keep up the Knight production. He can't handle what's coming. He can't even build the siege, and that's actually going to be a GG. Barely any gold left in his base. He gets exposed on the flank as well, and that is the detail, the critical detail that forces the GG out and gives Beastie the win.